Hi, I'm going to be speaking to Phoebe O'Gorman today, and she is a fashion design student currently in lockdown. Where are you in lockdown?
I'm in Spain currently. I'm in a town called Benavente, which is 3 hours from Madrid. So I just thought, why not come here for the second lockdown?
Yeah, sounds great. How are you finding it, Spain,
Uh,
at the moment?
it's a very different Spain to like what I'm usually like know it as, because we come to the north of Spain quite a bit as a family. So, but it's very strange. Like it's really quiet, and they've shut like the pubs and all the restaurants and stuff. So it's a bit weird, but like also I kind of needed to be somewhere else, like
Mm.
somewhere experience something new. So wherever I am, like no matter what's going on, it's still going to be something new to experience. So
Do you
yeah.
think you're better off in lockdown in Spain? Like, have you got a uni flat that you're kind of like just
Well,
left?
no, yeah, I've got a uni flat. I've left my flatmates as well. Like I woke up and I was like, I'm going to Spain tomorrow, guys, and they're like, okay. um, so yeah, I've still got a flat in Preston, but things like I can still do my course like here, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, working online, like you can literally do it from anywhere. Um, so yeah, decided to come to Spain.
Cool. So I've just got a couple of questions that I'm just going to ask, and we'll just bounce off each other and chat about it.
Yeah.
Um, so can you explain to me what projects you're doing at the moment?
For university, like
Yeah,
wise, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we've got at least 4 modules at the minute, and they've all been changed because of COVID. So they've kind of become a lot more virtual, and you can do them from home. And everyone's at different levels. Like with if you've got like a sewing machine, like what materials they have. So it's kind of given us a lot more creative freedom. So one of my modules is like designing a collection, and like a mini collection. And then another module is it's called like it's outerwear.
Mhm.
So you pick a muse, like your brand who you want to design for. So I'm designing for Burberry, and my muse is Harry Styles. Love Harry Styles.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
yeah, he obviously does like a lot of work with Gucci, so I just thought, why not do Burberry design for that as well? And then my other module is manufacturing. So I managed to finish that before I came to Spain, and that was creating a jacket with a hood. So yeah, they're all the modules at the minute. So yeah.
So you can literally like, you don't have to make a garment if you can't, if you get what I mean. So if you don't have a sewing machine or anything like that, you can just have the creative freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's more like design. It's more focusing on design at the minute. So
Okay.
it's not the end product you're designing, but then you're not expected to make it. So we're kind of losing that element of like that practical element, which is a shame. And obviously that experience in drafting patterns, being in a studio workspace, which is something that I really miss. And yeah, it's a shame that we're not getting that practical experience. But I'm guessing that they can't tailor that to us at the minute. So yeah, it is a big shame. But then another one of my modules is, I think you might have done it for promotion. It's like doing like a promotional pack. So it's basically like branding, like
Oh God, yeah, I
CV,
remember that.
yeah, doing all like that sort of stuff. So obviously for next year we've got industry year. That's if people want to do a sandwich year as part of your degree. And like I really want to do that, but I don't know whether the promotional pack's like a good route for me to go down, but it's part of a module, so I've got to complete it. But we're usually in normal times we'd create the pack, like
Mm.
actually physically make it, but we're just literally designing it. So again, we've lost that practical side of doing things and organising things and collaborating with people, but it's just a new way of working. So
Yeah, do you want to do placement? Yeah.
I do, but I think the promotional packs only like kind of tailor or cater for a certain job and for what I want to go down to doing, or certain brand, like for what I want to do next year. Is a lot of the emphasis on the packs is quite a lot like Boohoo kind of thing, and they've just opened their applicant days. So there's been a lot of emphasis this week with that module on getting the pack, the promotional pack going. But I'm just kind of not thinking about that at the minute.
Yeah, no, I think there's probably like a lot more opportunities in Manchester at the moment, because there's Boohoo, isn't Pretty Little Thing in Manchester as well?
But yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
It's like all like the online kind of like fast fashion.
yeah, they've all
They,
come out now, and I think Matalan as well, maybe.
yeah,
But I was really surprised that I thought it'd be next year, because the ones that I'm thinking of doing, a lot of them are unpaid, but they're more like kind of art, more focused, like directional, kind of in that way, rather than like
mm.
fast fashion, like high street sort of online brands.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all the online brands that really need help, because I mean, everyone's going crazy for them.
Literally are, aren't they? Like they're if anything, they've never been more successful now, have they? Really? So yeah.
Yeah, sure. In what, so, oh, we've kind of gone over this, but we can talk about it
I'll
again.
probably just keep talking.
um, I'll go on to the next one actually. Has lockdown affected your creativity as such? Like, I know you've said like it's a real shame that you can't be in the studios and everything like that. And I remember finishing my degree, I was really sad like about that kind of thing, but I felt like I had to challenge and push myself so much harder, finishing it at home and using what was around me. Um, do you feel like that's really like affected your creativity? Or
um, I think like I was thinking about this today actually, and the first lockdown when I went home, I was just kind of just confused, but also kind of like right, got to prioritize what I'm doing in a minute, which is
mm,
finishing first year. Um, yeah, I know, like it has impacted creativity in a sense that you like say if I don't know, I was trying to explain this, like thinking this through this afternoon,
it's all
and
right.
it's I think you have a lot more creative freedom being at home, because obviously you've not got your tutors telling you like what sort of path you're going down, or if this is right or wrong. Like for me, it's quite good because it's like my own work, and like it's like what
Mm,
I want to do and which direction I want to take it in. um but yeah, not being able to like go into and get that physical, you know, practical session is that's what I'm missing. And also like collaborating with the students is a shame. But
yeah.
I think working online, like it has um it has got its positive sides to things. So yeah, I think it's just adapting as well, really, and literally like what you said, like working with what you've got and like looking at things in a different perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like I really missed being in the classroom with like all of my classmates, because you all have really similar minds, you're all really creative, and it was so nice to be able to bounce off of each other and ask for their opinions about, oh, like, should I include this in my sheet, or do you like this concept?
Think about it, like thinking about last semester, it feels like a lifetime ago
Hmm.
and so different now as well. But yeah, in that aspect of not even being able to talk to your people on your course, it is really strange, but it's what we have to do at the minute.
Yeah, me and my classmates used to Teams a lot. That really helped. Like, if you
Yeah,
guys don't do that already, like, you should do like a little Teams meeting.
I think as well. I think with it being online, a lot of us like seem to go into like panic mode a little bit because you're not sure where everyone else is at, and if you're at the right stage, or if what your work is like, if that's right, or how to get that like finesse of your work. Like your teacher doesn't get to see it, or your lecturer even, because it's so
Mm.
subjective. Doing what being creative, it's open to different opinions, different suggestions, and not getting that opinion from someone who's on this like a similar creative level as you is difficult. Yeah, so that was hard being in lockdown, like the first lockdown at home. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, What do you think your favourite project is at the moment that you're doing? Like, what are you really into?
I really like the mini collection. It's called mini collection, so it's like looking at different art within exhibitions. In fact, I enjoyed, like, first year was very much like this is what you've got to do. Like, you've got to stick to the brief. And now I don't know if it's because it's COVID or not. They've like allowed a lot more creative freedom. So I'm definitely enjoying them a lot more. And also, I think second year you kind of know which direction you want to go down. But yeah, I'm enjoying both of like the big two modules. And we recently just got some feedback given, which was like good feedback to know where you're at, because obviously you're not getting that, again, physical side of like work being judged like daily. So yeah, but the feedback's been good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying like exploring where I want to take it. And Jenny, my lecturer, like saying, "Oh, I love this. You know, go down this route. You could do this, blah blah blah." So yeah, I'm enjoying like a lot of the modules at the minute.
So do you feel like you're getting like a lot of support from your
Yeah,
lecturers as well?
yeah, definitely. Like the amount of support for us, I don't know if that's because it's, again, such like a tight knit group, that we're getting a lot of support from Jenny, Holly, the fashion promotion lecturer. Like, they're so supportive. Like, literally message them and be like, "Oh, do you like this? Like, what do you think? Any comments?" But again, like, it's just pushing for the practical side of everything. Like, we're not getting that practice on drafting a pattern or anything. So when it comes to final year, if things are normal by then, it's going to be a bit like, whoa,
Yeah.
what am I doing? How do you do this? But I think a lot of it is literally independent study and self-teaching. So
I feel like you just got to literally make the most out of the tutors, even if they criticize your work and you're like, "Oh, like this has really annoyed me." Like, yeah, you can have like a little moan about it, but in the long run, it's so worth it. Like, I don't feel like I don't know, I don't feel like I would have got my first degree.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with you on that a lot, because we definitely ask so many questions, and sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, how do they not know that?" But then it's like, well, that's what that's what the lecturers are there to do, answer questions. And sometimes if someone comes up with a question, it's like, "Oh, I was thinking that as well. I didn't know that." So yeah, like, when people say, "Oh, no, like, no question is like silly or anything," like, you know, UCLan really do support their students. Yeah, individually, definitely. I mean, for you, for final year last semester, like the lecturers would definitely like hit the target on getting onto teams and speaking to students, and I imagine it must have been very difficult for them as well.
Yeah, it's even like submitting your work. That was so scary, submitting that final work online, because we're not used to that. I don't feel like as creative students we will go in with our big portfolios, sit there, look round at everyone else's, and then I don't know, I felt sad as well because I couldn't really see what everyone else was doing, but we
Yeah,
kind of like all showed each other as we went along.
yeah,
But I would say one thing as well, like, never compare your work to anyone else's, because everyone
no,
is different. And
yeah,
like,
that's
I
so
used to
true.
do that all the time and compare myself to where other people are at. But I feel like now, just like, that's like the worst thing you can do, 'cause you just get yourself in a
Yeah,
stress.
I feel like you find that as within yourself, though. Like, you find that comparing yourself to others is not a good thing to do. And it does
No.
take, like, it takes a strong individual to be like, "No, this is what I'm doing, and I know that this is right, and I'll fight my case for it being right." Yeah, so I get that completely.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like like at the end of final year, you kind of understand, like, no, I need to stop comparing myself now, because
Yeah, yeah.
I've come all this way. What do you kind of like do in your spare time when you're not studying during lockdown? Because obviously when you're a student, in your spare time, you're basically going out all the time or going to get food or whatever with all your friends and mingling. So what now do you do in your spare time? Do you make sure you have spare time, or do you
I think,
just
yeah, no, I think that is true. I think because now, being at home, you can spend a lot more time doing your course, and obviously you've not got that university experience.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, at the minute I'm in Spain, so obviously I'm trying to speak Spanish, although my Spanish is not very it's not very good. But I'd say a lot of the time is speaking to friends, family as well, reading a lot as well, like reading things that I wouldn't read for my degree. So reading different novels on different topics that that I've always been interested in, but never really had the time to do it. But I've made the time to do it.
Yeah, it must just be like really strange because university, well, a lot of people say it's all about making friends, and that's was my experience for sure, was all about being with all my friends all the time.
Yeah, being social. Yeah, it's really it's like really, really strange. Like it's completely different new belief system in a sense, because
Yeah.
you're not getting that university experience.
It's so weird, like doing your degree in Spain. But I
It
love
is.
that.
It is weird. It is, but I mean, there's a lot to do here, but then there's also not really a lot to do. So like, I'm still studying, like 100%. So, but then
Yeah.
also making the time to do like leisurely things. So yeah.
That's the best thing to do, though. I feel like you need to take
You
time to
need that mental
yourself.
break. Yeah. Yeah,
For
definitely.
sure. Because I felt like during lockdown, when I was finishing my degree, I didn't know when to stop. Like my teacher would sometimes email me and be like, stop, like just
Yeah.
like take a step back. You need to just chill. I remember it was my sister's 21st during lockdown, and we were doing like something called like Frankie Fest. So it was like a festival themed party with just like me and my
Oh, that sounds really
family.
fun.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
so cute. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's a whole day off. Like, how am I going to cope? Like, I don't know what to do. And then I told my teacher, and I was like, I'm having the Saturday off. She's like, that's fine. Like, just chill out. Like, you can,
I'm having the Saturday off.
yeah, like you can do stuff. Like, and the thing is as well, I would always go out on a Friday, go to Switch with my
Yeah.
friends, and then I wouldn't do any work on Saturday. But
Yeah.
lockdown just got me in the mentality that I needed to do work all the time. Didn't know when to actually like take a step back, I felt like, because all I was thinking about was my work, and all I could see was my work, because you're stuck in the house and it's just like you're surrounded by it, so you don't know what else to do.
But even if I found going on walks, like I'm lucky the
Mm.
first lockdown where I live is that we live really like rurally, so I could go out for walks, runs, and that kind of just cleared my mind. And then when I came back to do work, I'd look at it and be like, what is that? Or let's do this a bit better. Like you just come back with a clearer mind, and a more direct focus of what you need to do.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what is your opinion paying full price for your degree?
Oh, good question. um, we definitely should get deductions on our tuition fees, 110%. And I feel as though, particularly for creative students within the arts, have literally just been kind of forgotten about, in a sense that when you get your degree, you might have your degree, but can you actually do everything within that degree? It's like I've mentioned a lot of the times that I'm not getting the practical element, and a lot of people in my course aren't getting the practical element of making patterns and drafting patterns, and yet we're still paying the same amount. And I'm in Spain now, and it's like, should I really be paying? Like I could be doing a virtual online course, open university, when actually I'm paying, well, we're all paying a lot of money to be at university. So I think the government needs to take a decision on what they're actually going to do on that. So yeah, I hope there is like some sort of protest soon, because I'll definitely be joining.
Yeah, no, same. I feel like it's just so hard on everyone. It's hard on teachers because they probably are trying to be positive,
Yeah,
and if they're not positive, then students don't feel positive.
yeah, that's so true, and they can't really go against who they're employed by. I mean, like they're obviously going to promote the course to the nth degree, but then it's also hard for them because they probably acknowledge that we're not getting
Yeah,
the
sure.
same teaching, but it's not their fault. Like, yeah, I'm stating that that is not their fault.
No, it's
But yeah,
not.
for final years, like for you graduating, like I don't know how you guys did it. I don't know how you guys did it at all.
Yeah, it was so sad because we didn't get graduate fashion week, we didn't get the award ceremony, we didn't get, that one last blowout of all your mates, like going to summer survival, and all of that
Like
stuff.
literally
It
just
was
been forgotten.
awful. Yeah, and I just felt like I got the certificate in the post and that was it. How do you feel about what the government was saying, if you're in the arts, you may as well just not bother and try and find another career?
For the government to say that, or for anyone to even suggest that doing a art degree or creative art course or anything within that area to completely dismiss it it kind of shows their lack of ignorance to everything at the minute. Because if you think of how people have coped through lockdown, it's within like performing arts, with music, the theatre, like all the leisurely things that actually get people by and through things. um, and I don't think there's ever been a bigger push now than to have any like to have. There's never been a bigger push to have more
Yeah.
creative knowledge in people, because that's what like fills, like makes everyone happy. Like, well, not happy, but like expression, isn't it? And yeah, in that sense. So that I definitely that really annoyed me as well.
It's just so annoying because, like I said, like we're working so hard, we've worked so hard for this, and then they're just saying, oh yeah, it's not going to exist. But how would the world be happy if we didn't have arts and entertainment?
That's the thing, yeah. And people have fallen back on that through lockdown. Like, people have picked up an instrument that they've never played before, like as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
People, different people listen to different music now. People dress differently. So for them, for them to say that, it's just kind of complete dismissal and quite annoying, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's just such a shame.
It is.
um oh, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to
Were
say
you?
it is, and it's sad, but we would like. I think the arts will come back bigger and better and stronger than ever. So, yeah,
Yeah, we have to be positive. It's
yeah,
like
exactly.
I can't get a job in my industry at the moment. Like I wanted to
Mm.
go to London, live there, get a job as a fashion stylist
I
assistant
remember,
and work
I
my
remember
way
you
up.
telling me, yeah, that you like, I want to
Yeah.
move to London. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, had an idea. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I had like a plan and now I can't even do that. So that's why I'm kind of doing this website and being creative
Adapting
in
to
my own
different things. Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because if someone, well, I guess like no one can hire me at the moment, and that's no one's fault, but um I may as well just hire myself. You get what I
Exactly. Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That is, yeah. I could not agree with you more there. You've kind of just got to put yourself on the line, and that is like a big thing to do, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
but like no one can. The thing is, as well, with being a creative student, is you'll always have your skill, and that's your skill. No one can take that away from you. Or if someone does say something, or you're not happy with something, you can walk away still having that skill. And if not, you can improve on that skill even more and become bigger and better. So
Yeah, for sure, exactly. I feel like I'm learning so much, just I don't know, from doing like small collaborations and things like that. I'm like learning so much, gaining so many more contacts.
definitely. And that's the thing, it's networking, isn't it? And like we're able to do that online. So
Yeah.
good for you. Good for you,
It's
yeah.
actually, it's like it's kind of like, well, it's not easy, but it is. Like there's so many like networking sites like Click Me, Dots, and you can just find people and be like message them, and you can see their work, put your portfolio on there and see if you like it, and then if it's similar to yours, you could do a big collaboration or
That's the thing, there's
hey.
so many more opportunities now for freelance. Like that's going to go even bigger now. So
Yeah,
there's a massive opportunity there.
for
So yeah.
sure. Um What would you what would your advice be to give to someone if they were struggling right now?
My advice would be to keep, like, I mean, it's hard to say when someone's really struggling, it's hard to say and keep going, but
It is.
it is really hard to say that. But once you get past a certain point, you'll think to yourself, oh, I'm glad that I stuck with it, because things always do get better. And I think as well, if you have that determination to do something, then you'll always stick with that. I mean, I'm speaking like from my perspective, like how I would deal with it, just to keep going, and kind of not have that attitude of giving up, because if you give up, then like you can only blame yourself. Don't know if that's good advice. But yeah, just to really just kind of keep going with it, maybe take a step back a bit, kind of prioritize yourself a little bit more than worrying about different issues. So kind of prioritize what comes first, like your health, your mental health, and then follow them steps below. And I think like having some sort of like systematic order, you'll kind of see a bit more clearer and have a bit more clarity in what you want to do. So that would be my advice. Whether or not you take it, I don't know.
It must be really hard for some students if they're just cooped up, especially if you're a first year, because you don't know anyone, and you're
Yeah,
literally in halls. What if you don't get on with your flatmates? Like, what
I
are you
know.
gonna you're gonna
No.
go home, and then you'll be like, I haven't made any friends. It's just
Yeah.
really awful.
This year especially, I'm not taking that for granted, because obviously last year I had like quite a bit of time, like first semester, to get to know everyone. So this semester I'm kind of like, don't complain about it too much, because you're not first year and you're not final year.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things at the minute that is like hard to promote to like prospective students coming. But I think if you're going into a degree, then you obviously have that idea that you do want to kind of get the result at the end, so you want to get your degree. But yeah, for me, it'd be really hard. It'd be really, really hard to not know anyone, to be at uni, to be expected to not come home because you have to stay within a certain region within the UK. Yeah, I'd find that really hard. The only thing that I would suggest is literally trying to get in touch with your course mates, because on your course you kind of reassured that you're going to have people of a like-minded nature to you. So I'd try and even just giving them a text or being like, do you want to go for a walk in the park, something as simple as that, like, or go for a shop, that's all you can do at the minute, like go to the supermarkets. Yeah, that would be my advice with undergrad, like first years especially.
Yeah,
So yeah.
definitely. So you said about the with your projects, you can kind of go any route you want. Do you know someone who doesn't have a sewing machine or anything like that? Like, what are they actually doing?
Yeah, I had this question like quite a bit ago. Like my mum actually posed the question to me. She was like, well, what do people do if they don't have a machine? And I was like, people will have machines. They're doing like a fashion design degree. But then I was like, well, no, people won't, like, because we have machines at uni. You're paying
Yeah,
for a
you're
course
paying.
to have a machine at university. I mean, I'm fortunate. I've got a machine, and that I don't know what I'll do with that on my sewing machine. But yeah, that practical element has literally been like stripped from the course. So we're not expected to do things physically. Like it's all just 2D design base that
So
you're
it's just
expected to do.
illustrations,
Yeah,
basically.
it's literally just illustrations. I mean, there's garment pack details and things like that, but again, that's illustrations. I don't think there's ever been more emphasis using Adobe, like Illustrator. Like to do a design degree, you don't even need to like pick up a pen and paper. Like, I mean, come on, you need to know. You can like draw, and obviously if you're creative, then you're going to want to do that. But I think now everything, our submission is online, and it needs to look presentable and professional. So I think, yeah, if you don't have a sewing machine, I think a lot of people are kind of just like doing collages maybe.
Do you think the future of fashion design will change?
That if we don't have the experience of using a knit machine, like how or any other machine, like how employable will we be in the future? And this could be a problem for the next 5 or 7 years. You know, graduates coming out with degrees and they're not actually meeting the criteria of employability, like getting employed. So yeah, it is a bit worrying, and also because you need to experiment with what you want to do, and try things, because that's how you learn and that's how you think what you want to include within your designs and what aspects of creativity you like. So yeah.
Should I stop? I was gonna stop recording because I feel like I've got everything.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just press stop.